Good evening, my name is Riyad Rostam. Today I'll be discussing Woolies as my main focus for Mqbs1030 decision making for Business Assessment 3. My serial number is 47883146, and I'll put a link to the slides after this. In April 2025, food retail turnover experienced a decline of 0.3%, highlighting the growing impact of cost of living pressures on consumer behavior. As inflation continues to drive up the cost of goods and operations, profit margins are tightening, prompting consumers to reduce spending on non-essential and premium items. Supermarket and grocery store sales fell by 0.7%, reflecting this cautious approach. However, liquor retailing rose by 1.4% and specialized food retailing increased by 2%. Suggesting a shift toward value-driven and niche purchases. Woolies, operating in an oligopolistic market structure, faces limited but strong competition, mainly from Coles, Aldi, and Costco. This structure is characterized by high market concentration, brand loyalty, and significant barriers to entry within this environment. Price competition and strategic differentiation are key. As consumer preferences change, Woolies must respond by adjusting its pricing strategies, refining its product mix, and launching targeted promotions to maintain market share. Its scale and brand presence provide an advantage, but agility and responsiveness are essential to meet the evolving needs of value-conscious shoppers in a tightening economic climate. Next slide is demand and supply. The 0.3% decline in food retail turnover in April 25, as reported by the ABS, reflects a contraction in consumer demand, despite the presence of two public holidays which typically boost shopping activity. This suggests that macroeconomic conditions, especially high interest rates, persistent inflation, and a tightening of household budgets, are dampening consumer willingness and ability to spend on essentials like groceries. As a result, consumers are shifting behavior by favoring discounted items, bulk purchases, or even turning to food service options like cafes and takeaway meals, which rose by 1.1% during the same period. This indicates not only price sensitivity, but also a change in consumption habits towards convenience and value. On the supply side, food retailers like Woolies must navigate challenges such as increased cost of logistics, energy, and labor, which affect their ability to maintain competitive pricing while protecting margins. Disruptions from global supply chains and unpredictable weather events such as those impacting agricultural fields also affect the quantity of food supply. When costs of production rise or uncertainty in the market increases, suppliers may reduce output or raise prices, causing a leftward shift in the supply curve. Market structures. The Australian food retailing industry operates within an oligopolistic market structure characterized by a small number of large firms. Woolies, Coles, Aldi, and more recently Amazon Fresh and Costco, who dominate the market and have significant control over pricing and consumer access. In this structure, firms are highly independent, meaning that the pricing or promotional strategies of one retailer directly influence the actions of its competitors. For example, if Woolies introduces heavy discounts or accelerates its delivery services, Coles and Aldi are likely to follow suit to retain market share. This dynamic reduces the likelihood of aggressive price wars by promoting non-price competition through improved service, loyalty programs like the Woolies Everyday Rewards Card, and sustainable product lines. Despite high barriers to entry, such as large capital requirements, economies of scale, and the need for sophisticated logistic and supply networks. For slide 5, we look at conditional formatting. If I could move my hand, but I don't know how to straight out. Yeah, we could see I'd used a graph there. I use color coding for it, conditional formatting. Conditional formatting was used to enhance the analysis of food retaining sales from April 2020 to April 2025, allowing key patterns and insights to visually stand out. A color scale was applied to the seasonally adjusted sales column, where higher values are shaded in green and lower values in red. This immediately highlights peak performance periods such as early 2025 and identifies lower sales months like those seen in early 2020. To further explore for more performance changes over time, a month-to-month percentage change was calculated and formatted to flag significant shifts. Months with a strong sales increase were marked in green, while months with notable declines were marked in red. In the context of the food retailing sales data, the idea of a Pareto efficient outcome refers to a state where resources, in this case consumer spending and retail supply, are allocated in such a way that no one can be made better off without making someone else worse off. While the data itself does not directly represent a Pareto efficiency curve, we can interpret the consistent upward trend in food retail sales over time as an indication that the market has generally become more efficient in meeting consumer demand. If plotted as a Pareto frontier, each point on the curve could represent a monthly combination of seasonally adjusted and trend sales where improvements in consumer satisfaction are matched by retailer efficiency. A shift outward of this curve over time will suggest that the food retailing sector has improved in delivering value without sacrificing performance elsewhere. The application of a pivot table to the food retailing sales data from April 2020 to April 2025 provided the powerful tool for transforming the raw data into an organized, meaningful summary that enhanced interpretation and insight generation. With monthly figures for both seasonal adjusted and trend-based sales, the pivot table allowed for the data to be efficiently grouped by year and broken down by month, enabling a detection of patterns over time that would otherwise be difficult to visualize. In conclusion, throughout this project, I've demonstrated a range of key employability skills that are highly valuable in a professional setting. Firstly, my analytical and critical thinking abilities were evident in the way I interpreted complex sales data, identified patterns, and drew meaningful conclusions from both trend and seasonal adjusted figures. The use of Excel tools such as pivot tables and charting reflects strong technical proficiency and data literacy. I also showcase attention to detail and accuracy, ensuring that all calculations, summaries, and visual representations were precise and reliable. Lastly, my ability to independently manage a project and adapt analytical techniques as needed highlights my initiative, problem solving, and organizational skills. Collectively, these capabilities would allow me to contribute effectively in roles requiring data-driven and decision-making, making me a valuable asset to any potential employer.